Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. During this presentation, we'll provide an overview and some details on the latest release of the Ansible Automation Platform. This is a summit release. And during this presentation, we are talking both about how we are delivering incremental value to customers and how to use some of the features and collections that we are delivering as part of this release to unlock AI value in IT operations. As an example of the former, we'll cover in more depth some additional enhancements to the user experience. And for the latter, how we incorporated some of the new features and Ansible content collection into some opinionated use cases for AI. So let's dive in. Starting with this release, our goal is to group some of the functionalities and the collections that we've been delivering as part of our roadmap around the theme. What is the goal here? The goal is to enable our customers to unlock value more quickly and deliver on key business outcomes more efficiently, and potentially, spark broader adoption and innovation within the organization. So what is the theme? What is the lens that we are using for this release? It's AI, right? It won't come as a surprise. I want to give you some highlights. We are going in depth on most of them. I just want to give you an idea, a general idea of what we are going to discuss in this video. So what is new? Policy enforcement, which is a functionality part of a larger family that we call policy as code, is going GA. It's a functionality that is broadly applicable, but if we wanted to look at that through the lens of AI, it's a fantastic way to build confidence and basically create guardrails around AI inferences. The reality is that just because automation can do something doesn't really mean it should. So always through this lens is a fantastic way to build confidence around AI and really adopt this new technology in your organization with the certainty that nothing should go wrong, right? A part of that, another thing that we're going to cover is Lightspeed Intelligent Assistant, which is becoming technology preview at Summit. And what is that? Is an intuitive virtual assistant embedded directly into the platform UI. It offers contextual assistance to accelerate troubleshooting. It helps streamlining platform onboarding, and at the end of the day, supports daily automation management. Then we have a lot to cover on new certified and validated collections. There are really a lot of updates there. We are going to carve a little bit of those collections to talk about AI. As I said before, it's kind of some of the driving themes for this presentation and this release, but there is a lot more to cover. Then we are doing a deep dive in what changed, what is new in our cloud marketplace offering. And last but most definitely not least, since we talk about incremental value delivered through the platform, Loic will guide us through some of the changes that we made, some of the new features we introduced to enhance the user experience and make the platform more easily consumable. It's something that is very dear to me, the fact that we've been really trying to provide incremental value to customers. I don't want to go into the details of what we've been delivering since 2.5 has been released, but we have been trying to add new functionalities over time consistently. This is supporting the whole idea that automation is really mission critical, and the Ansible Automation Platform is the product for mission critical automation. And these are all product management driven initiatives and features, but that's not the only way we inform our roadmap. That's not the only way we deliver functionalities and value through the platform. One thing we've been very, very careful in doing is listening to our customer base. We put a lot of focus around RFEs, listening to customers, taking what problems they have or what suggestions they have, and turning those into deliverables. And that's the part where Loic is really going to deep down. We group them and we want to talk through them through the lens of enhanced user experience, but there is a lot more that we've been doing. So just to finalize, as I mentioned before, we are going to discuss some of the functionalities And some of the collections we release through the lens of the AI thing. We be talking about 3 specific AI use cases that you can leverage in your organization. And all these will be available for customers through redundant knowledge base. The intent is to enable you to replicate them in your own environment. We are providing ways to help you to tie in strategic AI initiatives within your organization, speeding up value realization and maximizing the impact. But as I said before, there is plenty we are going to discuss today in this video, and I will hand over to my colleague in product management, Steve, that we cover what is new in certified and validated content collections.
Thank you, Massimo. One of the things that I really want to push forward on this messaging is that we're continuing to invest heavily in content collections, not only with our partners, but also within the Ansible platform itself. In this Summit release, we're introducing certified content specifically to help you and your customers automate the Ansible Automation Platform itself. For example, the new Ansible Platform collection enables the full lifecycle management of centralized services. This is key for those large-scale and enterprise environments. We have a new Infra.ai validated content collection that enables provisioning of RHEL AI infrastructure on major cloud providers, including AWS, GCP, and Azure. This simplifies and accelerates the deployment of your AI infrastructure reliably across different cloud environments. Red Hat.ai is our certified collection designed specifically to configure InstructLab on RHEL AI systems. This ensures a rapid standardized deployment and configuration of InstructLab with your AI model training and serving processes. The key takeaway here is you can now automate your automation platform in a repeatable, standardized, and as code manner way, the same way you manage the infrastructure or your apps. This greatly improves stability and auditability. So going on to what we actually did in Q1. So from a Q1 standpoint, we had great velocity in expanding our collections and the certified and validated capabilities that are inherent to those things. So we really want to stress what happened in this quarter. This quarter's update reflects real-world scenarios we're seeing in customer engagements, and we are addressing them with both certified and validated content that's really ready to use day one. So let's start with the networking and edge use cases. We've added validated content for core operations like configuration backups, inventory reporting, and health checks. This is critical for those edge deployments. We've also integrated with Juniper Apstra and F5, using event-driven to trigger automations based on real-time alerts and policies, bringing proactive security and observability into play in the network and the edge. In the cloud, we've improved AWS modules, focusing on VPC and EC2 automation. We've also included the capabilities of auto-scaling with AWS, which is essential for the dynamic workload environments that OpenShift requires. We've also added support for Azure Arc. This enables hybrid cloud configurations from Azure to on-prem. For infrastructure and OS, we're extending that coverage. The Windows collection with Ansible.Windows has been expanded by 80%. We've also created a net new Microsoft IIS collection, which is automation that will allow you to better support IIS, especially for use cases involving role management, file management, and patching for that environment. We've also included the support for SSH within Windows environments. You no longer just have to use WinRM. We've also notably, with much fanfare, introduced validated content for VMware to OpenShift virtualization migrations. This is currently in pilot phases, and by Summit, we'll be rolling this out to a greater partner audience. With that, we've also included validated content around OpenShift SDN to OVN transitions. This is all about enabling the cross-domain automation, not just within one area, but spanning across infrastructure, network, cloud, and the platform itself, really creating a true solution for your end customer. So with that being said, we're going to talk about what's going to be released during Summit. We're building on our quarterly content momentum. The Summit release brings even more enhancements, many of them directly driven by feedback from our partners and users in the field. Again, I'm going to start on the networking side. On the networking side, the Cisco UCS collection helps organizations better manage complex hardware configurations, especially in virtualized data center environments. This is driven by our joint collaboration with Cisco around the Cisco validated designs that the Cisco sellers can actually sell and customers can actually see before they actually buy. The updated Meraki collections improve cloud-based device automation, particularly valuable for distributed remote environments. In cloud, for both Azure and AWS, we are getting smarter. Azure now supports managed identity providers, simplifying credential management while improving security. AWS has expanded support for System Manager, commonly known as SSM, allowing for more secure and controlled interactions with EC2 instances. We're also continuing to scale our efforts around AI. As I mentioned before, around the validated and certified content around AI, this helps the users provision AI infrastructure, manage AI model lifecycles, and integrate these workflows into a broader automation pipeline that we mentioned before. And finally, the ecosystem continues to grow. In Q1, we only had 4 partners. This quarter, we've had 16 new partners. Over 100 existing collections have received enhancements. These are commonly known as updates. At Summit, we're highlighting how the content ecosystem is not only growing in quantity, but also evolving to support a complex multi-platform use case, especially in areas like virtualization, cloud-native infrastructure, and AI. One major area of investment is migration automation. We're going to be introducing new validated and certified content for OpenStack, specifically designed to help organizations migrate from VMware environments into OpenStack infrastructure. This is a key ask for our customers, modernizing legacy workloads and reducing licensing costs. In a parallel effort, as I mentioned before, we're expanded our validated content for VMware to OpenShift virtualization migrations. This content is already being used in services-led engagements. We're helping customers transition from virtual machines to containerized workloads for OpenShift. This is a strategic modernization for many of our Red Hat customers that we want Red Hat Consulting and our partner services to drive. Both of these content areas focus on a few things: automating migration planning and execution, validating cluster readiness, and ensuring a smooth handoff between virtual and container native workloads. This is about giving customers confidence to move forward with their hybrid cloud and modernization journeys. Backed by Ansible Automation, they can trust all the automation that they implement in this. These updates are not just about adding more, they're about aligning our content to solve complete use cases and giving you the building blocks to deploy automation at scale with confidence. Marty will now review a use case leveraging the new Red Hat AI collections that I mentioned before. Take it away, Marty.
Hi, okay, thanks, Steve. As you mentioned, I'm going to start off talking about how we are enabling operations teams to automate and provision AI infrastructure. We want end users to be able to focus on using AI to solve problems faster and not get bogged down in how to stand up the infrastructure that they need. So we have released new certified and validated content collections that automate provisioning AI infrastructure on Red Hat AI platforms such as RHEL AI and OpenShift AI. These content collections enable consistency and, These content collections enable consistency and repeatability to ensure your infrastructure is always available, reliable, and performant. You can find these new collections, redhat.ai and infra.ai, on Automation Hub today. So now that we have an easy way to stand up infrastructure for AI workloads, let's talk about a new tool available to Ansible Automation Platform that actually uses generative AI itself, the Ansible Lightspeed Intelligent Assistant. The Intelligent Assistant is a new service built into Ansible Automation Platform that provides a chat interface for platform users to ask questions. This enables administrators and operators to get answers quickly right where they are working in the AAP user interface itself. This will greatly simplify administration, enable faster onboarding, and accelerate upskilling while reducing frustration and common points of friction. The first release of the Intelligent Assistant is specific to Ansible documentation and other Ansible-specific resources, where you can ask questions on how to configure the platform, set up new users, or how to activate key features. This first release also lays the foundation for future agentic workflows and the ability to ask more complex questions, such as why did this job fail? A technical preview of the Intelligent Assistant will be available at Summit. Okay, so we've automated some AI infrastructure on Red Hat AI and provided a generative AI service inside Ansible Automation Platform to chat with. Now let's tie all of this together and show you a use case that delivers self-healing automation. In this diagram, you can see a workflow for self-healing a Windows or Linux system error. Just to quickly touch on the key moments, an error occurs, event-driven Ansible picks up the error on the event stream. It analyzes the failure using the Ansible Lightspeed Intelligent Assistant. It logs the event and all of the data to your ITSM of choice. It asks the Ansible Lightspeed Coding Assistant for a new playbook to remediate the failure. It pushes the playbook to your Git repo and then runs the new playbook. Ansible Automation Platform enables all of this for you, tying together EDA, Ansible Lightspeed's generative AI capabilities, and your observability, service management, and Git tools of choice. The key here is resiliency for your IT infrastructure and software stack. So what are we delivering new here? Well, check out the amazing use case guides and new Ansible artifacts that we've put together on the knowledge base that shows you how to build out your own self-healing architecture. Okay, so this is all great, but you might be wondering, how can I trust the AI? Or how can I trust what the AI is telling me to do? Next, Massimo will cover another new feature that will help with this. And I'll turn it over to you, Massimo.
Thank you, Marty. And we cover policy enforcement a little bit at the very beginning of this video. What this is one functionality part of a larger family of functionalities. And the whole idea is the ability to compare against a policy, very likely a company or corporate policy that is coming in from a policy engine, an external policy engine at runtime when automation gets executed. It's not AI specific, but if you wanted to look at that through the AI lens, and I have a slide on that later on, it's a fantastic way to put guardrails around AI ops adoption. What that means is that now you can focus on accelerating the usage of automation, more and more automation, and automation driven by different tools, like think about event-driven automation, with events coming in from AI-driven analysis tools. Then we give you the confidence that everything that you'll be running southbound of those will be compliant. What's the outcome? Why would you apply policies into your automation? Well, outcome number one is the reduction of risk. It's a risk management exercise. You want to make sure that automation that is run doesn't incur in security issues, doesn't create outages or downtimes. And a very interesting byproduct of that is that you will learn to automate with discipline. You will provide checks and balances around your automation. Excuse me. But let's go back for a second and think about what Marty just showed you. How does this look applied to an AI-driven use case? Well, let's take a very simple thing. You have an observability tool. That observability tool is powered by AI, is able to capture a number of signals in your organization and make an assumption, provide a recommendation. This tool has an integration with the platform, whether it's via event-driven automation or other means, doesn't really matter. What it will be doing is turning that recommendation into an action, which is great, is what we always wanted. So it will pick a piece of automation and it will try to run that piece of automation. By the time that automation gets into the execution stage, the system is now able to check with policies that have been mapped at different levels. For the sake of simplicity, let's say job template level. And now two things may happen. The automation is perfectly fine, it's perfectly compliant with everything that you set up in your organization. It passes, it gets executed, everyone is happy. Or it happens that the organization set boundaries that prevent this automation from being executed, and the automation stops. And that's the point where a human decision maker comes into the picture and looks at what happened and decides what is the best course of action. This is really about, checking and adding a layer that ensures trust into the adoption of AI-driven technologies. And it's all fantastic, but as I said before, this is not all about AI. There are, natural places where policies can be applied successfully and provide additional value. There is the world where policies belong, so the risk management, security, and compliance space, which is it's fairly intuitive, where applying policies at runtime would return the investment very, very quickly. The entire goal here is to apply these policies across the entire IT operation stack consistently. And you can do many, many things. As an example, you can put another layer of control on who is doing what. A more granular level of check that ensures that the automation that is available in your organization is run by the people that have the permissions or the means of run that automation. Another thing that you can do as an example is time box this automation. And that can take different shapes and form. One would be, as an example, you have a security event. There is an investigation that is happening, and what you do is ring fencing a piece of your infrastructure and saying, you know what, while we are investigating what happened, I really don't want any automation to be executed there. I don't want the environment to change until I understand what is going on. Another thing, another shape or form that this could take is a maintenance window. It's a very simple use case, but a very powerful use case. And the point is, all the automation that we have set up in our organization is available to the users is perfectly fine, but a subset of that automation, I would rather have that run just during a maintenance window, because if you have to reboot a machine or you have to reinstantiate a workload, I would rather do that when I decide that's the case. Out of all the use cases that you can enable and all the areas that you might be targeting with policies, cloud operations is another natural quick win. And that's by its own nature, right? Especially in workloads in hyperscalers are very prone to over-provisioning and to resource sprawling. So one thing where you would like to apply policies on should be or might be checking whether users are really authorized to provision instances. And that could be the amount. Are they really allowed to instantiate that many resources? Or it could be the place. Are they really allowed to instantiate a resource in that region, on that place? And connected to resource sprawl, there is also an inventory or an asset management problem that is very common in large organizations, which is, oh, now I have all these resources instantiated. I don't really know what they're doing. Should I turn them off? I don't really know who they are. So policies can be very easily used to enforce naming and naming convention. So you make sure that every time something gets spun up, is appropriately tagged, is appropriately named, and only, it's another way of checking that everything that is provisioned in your hyperscaler is exactly what you wanted. Similarly, another way you could look at that is I can really make sure that I'm not, let's say, confusing or mistaking a production environment for a development environment. It's very flexible, it's very powerful, and if you think about the value that even the most basic use cases can bring to your organization, it's extremely enticing as a new functionality. But since we've been talking about cloud, there is no better place for Priya to jump in and talk about the new changes and what is new in our cloud marketplace offering.
Thank you, Massimo, for highlighting the use cases on policy enforcement. Talking about cloud, Ansible on cloud is constantly evolving. We're bringing in new capabilities to the forefront. 4 additional regions have been added to the Ansible Automation Platform managed service on AWS, and we'll continue to add more. We're also now supporting the private link. What that means is customers can securely ingress and egress out of the control plane. They can set up private link across different regions, connect to projects and execution environments, all within a private network. Another enhancement is related to accessing the control plane. By restricting specific CIDR blocks, customers can now control access to their UIs and APIs. On the managed application on Azure, we have all our existing customers upgraded to AAP 2.5 with event-driven Ansible available. As we continue to support our self-managed offerings, our VM images have also been upgraded. Now let's take a look at continuous journey of our re-imaged platform experience for Ansible Automation Platform users. Turning it over to you, Loic.
So as you know, we keep, like in previous 2.5, we have patch releases on a regular basis, including bug fixes and security fixes. Since 2.5, we didn't introduce the capabilities to add new enhancements after a few patch releases here. So for example, I'm going to go to a list of new enhancements here. We are going to focus on EDA first here because that's one of the features many customers are going to use in 2.5 and we're asking for. So a quick recap here. We did include the EDA component in the broad UI experience of Ansible, where now you can airbag, you get a single UI in single login here. And of course, you can use all creation type and create your own creation type when you want to connect to event sources here. And on the top of that, we do bring now a single endpoint for event sources here. You don't have to create and open multiple ports here. You can have only one, and the whole event stream will go to a single port here, a single endpoint. And from this event sources, you can apply multiple rulebooks to make it much more flexible here. That's what's provided in 2.5. For the Summit release, based on very popular requests from customers here, we do offer now the capability to edit rulebook. You can stop a rulebook activation. You can then edit it, modify whatever you want, and you can restart it. You don't have to create a new one here. So it will make your life much easier to copy, test, create new rulebooks as you go and you use a product here. One of the other asks we have, which was not very easy for user to look at the logs, we do now support the local of your time zone here. When you're looking at the UI, it's easier to understand when it started, when it stopped. When an event came through, you don't have to do the math in your head about the time zone on the screen and your time zone here. Makes things much easier. And we had some EDA and automation up to 5 was discussed earlier in part of the collection tagging here. Now, UI has been a big work for us since the 2.5 release. We have many discussions with customers. We have many analyses, and we have a couple of updates here to share with you. The first one is, if you go to the About page here, you will find all component versions. So if you are working with support here, it will be easier to say, we will find out I'm on 2.5, but here's the component version, then we know exactly what is a patch release you are, what is the new features that be included here. So we know per component, where are you in terms of release and versions here. We also, like any popular website, added a button to show your password when you're typing it here. So in place to try free password and it failed, you can simply now, look at your password, make sure it's the right one, and click login and successfully log here. We also, a couple of new updates here on the search and how you browse the UI, which is going to come very soon here. The first one, for example, when you're at the project level, you will have a search. If you type any keyword, we are going to search in all the possible text file in project as an example, like in name, in description, and return it back. You don't have to go to the drop down, which is still there, to say, I want to look in name, I want to look in description. We are going to look everywhere you can here. That will make it easier when you get a long list of projects, for example, or job templates, to go and find what you are looking for based on keyword. And when you don't know or don't remember what you were looking for here. And we did include a new way to group things together. We know many customers complain and ask for us a way to possibly use grouping mechanisms like folders. But in this case, we decided to introduce a new type of object on the screen. We call it domain, where you can, in a domain, select multiple labels. So as an example on the screen, on automation templates, you can select multiple labels on your template, and you can group this label in domain. And this domain is becoming a clicking button on the screen. And this button, as you can see, they are blue here. They're becoming your filter. And your filter will be available in job template and in jobs here. So you can move from one UI place to the other one, and you will still apply the same one. When you are managing a lot of templates with different domains, then you will be able to filter and find quickly what you want here. And finally, we did have the capacity to hide the password field in survey to make sure people doesn't read it when you're typing on the screen here. Very classic, very basic UI base, but now it's implemented and you can use it. On the core platform installation and configuration, we have a big demand that we start about the connectivity side here. You know, many customers came back to us. GitHub is recommending to don't use personal access token anymore, but use GitHub Apps authentication to the source control. So this was implemented. You can go and use it now. And we can finally, and this one was the most popular demand we got on the screen here, to receive webhook from Bitbucket data center solution, and we can send back feedback here. So part of your CI/CD DevOps integration with Bitbucket, you can now call Ansible to execute automation in the process here. So very popular demand, been implemented, and you can use it today. We also add the functionality to access Azure Key Vault via managed identity, in place of the classic, user token. So that's something that many customers wanted to do on Azure. And we finally integrated the TLS support for external database in the containerized install here. Again, many customers asked for it, so it's now implemented here. On the installation side, we have requests from many customers about security reasons to select different data tier for the receptor. So it's possible during the installation time, you specify which data directory you want the data be in. So that's part of your security measure. And on the analytics side, in place to use basic authentication, you can now select service accounts, which is going to give you, I would say, between control your AAP platform and analytics solution, an application level authentication, which is desired now to use here. We also, to simplify engagement with support, when you need to gather data with SOS report, you can use SOS report with the setup.sh. It's going to collect all the information at the cluster level. You don't have to do it by single entity here. The cluster will be done by the setup here. On the logging update, we did add organization ID in the log output, like for job lifecycle output log. Then if you're using solution to grab logs and make reports, you will be able to split by organization, which has been requested by many customers. And in container installation, we do support Journal D as a log driver. So if you have an activation rulebooks running for a very long time, you may have the pod, have too many logs here. So now with Journal D, that's going to support the system control, where you can define log rotation to support that here. And that's it for all these new updates. And we are going to introduce more enhancements as we are going forward here. But for now, I will turn it back to Massimo for the conclusion.
It falls on me to give you the very classic, call to action. What are we doing next? Now that you power through this video and you learn a whole lot of new things, what are you supposed to do next? Or what are the options available to you? Well, first and foremost, there is a blog out there. This blog goes more into the details of some of the features and the collections that we've been talking about today. It's a great starting point if you want to deep down and learn more about what we discussed today. There is also a redundant knowledge base article that covers another angle of the same functionalities and the same collections we discussed today. It's a great way to complement the blog. There is always the option of doing interactive demos. There is one specifically on unlocking AI ops, which is very interesting and is very focused with some of the discussions we've been having today. So that's another fantastic resource for you to consume, as well as a whole wealth of videos available on the Ansible Automation Platform YouTube channel. Last but not least, our documentation remains a great place to go and learn more on how to implement features, functionalities, consume collections, understand what is available to you as a customer. And docs.redhat.com is the place to go for that. That said, thank you again for spending time with us. Hopefully this was informative, and we'll see each other at Summit. Thank you very much.